Feliz Navidad, bitches! I hope you're having a nice Christmas vacation when my judge puts me on a little Christmas probation. And welcome back to Emotional Therapy. You might be wondering what's up with the suit. Well, my friend, that's what we in the band world like to call a concert attire. And you might know it better as a big fucking waste of time. Speaking of big waste of time, the topic of today's session is marching band. And, so let's take a little Freudian trip through my mind and figure out why I just hate this stupid thing so much. We're going to try to separate this video into 5 parts, much like the 5 stages of grief. And much like the 5 stages of grief, it's going to feel pretty depressing and suicidal throughout the whole thing. But as long as we've got our glass of Pinot Noir in hand, I think everything's going to be alright. And seeing as our great friend has passed away recently, I will be taking over his position as surrogate Eric. And I plan to continue his work. My first plan of action being to get really drunk and make this video. And like most things I do when I'm drunk, I'm probably gonna regret it later. Join marching band with the intention of furthering your musical skills, learning how to play and listen to a higher degree, especially in such a large setting. Well, let me tell you what actually happens. You learn how to A, play terribly, B, destroy your instrument in the process, and C, hate music and everything about it. One of the required elements is something called band camp, which is a preliminary week before school begins where you attend class and spend 6 hours a day in a hot-ass field while you stand around and get military-grade training, which is probably the closest thing I'll ever get to a literal boot camp. And probably includes just as much brainwashing. I swear, they were like trying to find the worst musical conditions possible for this thing. They specifically instruct you to play as loudly as possible, which to a trumpet player is like giving Marjorie a driver's license. People are gonna die. And you stand out and play in any weather, so if it's raining, then not only do you get soaking wet, but you get to destroy your instrument too. And if you're playing outside, it's just gonna be terrible for acoustics in general. And I can hardly fucking breathe in this bear suit while I'm standing out in the cold rain and flailing around like a lunatic because apparently I joined dance class while I'm destroying the thing which I've been spending the last 4 fucking years being told I'm supposed to care for like my own child. You can call me out? Well, like you can kill me now. Okay, but maybe that's not why you want to join marching band. Maybe you've seen a couple of these impressive videos on YouTube and you say, hey, I want to do that. Well, that's not going to happen either. And it probably is going to look more like this. But our formations really aren't that much better. And they really do look like a kindergartner who's trying to draw shapes for the first time. Marching band is just so unsatisfying as an extracurricular activity, with no joy and accomplishment, and you just look stupid trying. Because the systems that are put in place are complete garbage. You see, in concert music, you have a specifically designed setting that helps to keep you focused and have the best musical environment. You also have specifically designed systems put in place to help keep everyone organized. You have cues that tell you what other instruments are doing. You have specifically well-defined rhythmic markings, and a conductor who's able to keep everyone together both tonally and rhythmically. But in marching band, you got none of that shit. Where everyone's recalling songs from memory, making any sort of accuracy beyond what note to play practically impossible. And who am I even supposed to pay attention to here? This guy, so I can read his ASL? Or this guy, so I can figure out what retarded dance to do? Well, frankly, I can't tell, because I'm being screamed at and ear-raped simultaneously from every fucking cardinal direction, and I'm too busy doing the fucking Macarena over here. Hooked on a feeling? More like hook myself on a ceiling. God. Every day I'm suffering. In the words of the great writer Dunn, band is like social suicide. But frankly, you can remove the word social entirely. And even that's a bit unfair because at least suicide solves most of your problems. One of the biggest problems with marching band is the military level strictness. Now that I think about it, marching band actually does share a lot of similarities with another rigid organization. I swear the next move we're gonna learn is gonna be the Heil Hitler. But I'm not saying band is like the SS, but at least their leader cared about their well-being. Here's a rundown of a typical rehearsal. Practice out in the field, and it's either raining or blisteringly hot. Doesn't matter because Mr. Kim gets to stay in his bunker. We participate in one of two very fun activities. Marching around the track the whole time, or standing out in the field and trying to make our stupid formation. But it's not just a burden for the band though. I honestly feel bad because it seems like everyone gets annoyed whenever we start playing. I just want to set the record straight and say no one likes it any more than you do. But every time we play I see parents covering their children's ears to shelter them from the pain. And I could hardly blame them. Don't get me started about the games. We have to stand around in these wearable ovens while we drive ourselves insane by playing the same 3 songs over and over, and then it starts raining just so you can watch your team lose every fucking time, motherfucking son of a... Oh boy, Mr. Kim. Where do I even begin? Okay, so why is Mr. Kim a bad teacher? Well, he doesn't teach because he'd rather make fun of his students than help them. And he'd rather act like a 5-year-old than actually play the damn music. And he likes to make a lot of jokes, which is fine. I see lots of band teachers do the same thing. But they're not funny, and they're just random shit that like comes to his mind out of nowhere. And you wonder why no one listens to you? Well, maybe if you had something worth listening to, people would. I also hear a lot of people say he's very nice in private, and he's good to talk to, but frankly, he just has a complete lack of empathy, and I just don't see it being nice at all. And he's just so power hungry in conversations. I see it all the time. He like tries to make lots of jokes that are very much directed to demean you, and that's just bad. That's just bad for a teacher to not be approachable at all. He likes to play the privilege game a lot. I don't understand his weird obsession with it. Every time we're like talking about something completely different, he'll like go on a tangent and then start talking about this. What experience does he even have in music? Really? I would never have been able to tell, because he just does not want to talk about anything musical. Just likes to make lots of jokes about Fortnite or whatever the fucking kids are talking about. And I talked about the strictness before. The strictness doesn't bother me, alright? Teachers can be strict, as long as it's fair, ubiquitous, as long as you kill everyone in the process, I'm fine with it. Be as strict as you want. But here's where my problem comes in. You can force me to do whatever, I'll live, whatever, but you cannot force me to enjoy doing it. And that's what I think Mr. Kim does, you know, forces people like, you know, you gotta smile, why aren't you happy? Like, what's wrong? And it's like, fuck off, dude. Like, you know, make me do whatever, but you just can't make me enjoy it. That's the line from being a strict teacher to being a Nazi, alright? So, you know, if you're ever feeling pretty crummy in Mr. Kim's class, I've made this little band bingo sheet that you can play while being in his class. But you know what, guys? I'm fed up. I'm done with all the silent protests. I'm done with all the memes. I am actually going to confront this problem. And you know what? Because it is the Christmas season, I'm going to give Mr. Kim a little season's greeting of my own. Dear Mr. Kim, hope you're having a lovely winter vacation away from us. God knows I'm thankful. But in these 2 weeks, I think it's high time I go on an overly long, drawn-out rant of my own. You are single-handedly one of the worst teachers I've ever had. Your classes are practically unbearable, and I swear it's like I'm back in kindergarten with all the nap time I'm getting. And you treating us the same way doesn't help either. Not only that, you are such a complex of complexes. You're probably the most megalomaniacal Kim in the world. And you're such a gatekeeper, too. Privilege this and privilege that. God, I swear you have some form of Tourette's with all the random shit you say. Or maybe you just need some more valve oil for your brain to function properly. You're not funny at all, and by the way, saying the same joke again but louder doesn't make it any funnier. And in the 2 years I've had you, I haven't developed any more musical skills. In fact, I think they've diminished because you have this retarded system where no one's able to improve, and it's just one huge circle jerk, and the only reason anyone's still in the damn thing is so they can get some of that sweet, sweet college app nectar. Not that you'd know anything about that, would you? Because let me tell you, if you weren't a band teacher, you'd probably be putting chicken in my burrito at the fucking Chipotle across the street. Not that I'll be able to eat it anyway, because your class makes me want to hit myself over the head with a trombone so many times they'll call it a suicide and see you next week. And you're probably like, why, Miles? Why do you keep going back to marching band then? Well, I don't do it out of my own free will. I signed up for concert band, and they put me in marching band anyway. And I'm pretty sure they did that for everyone in marching band. because probably no one in their right mind would want to join marching band out of their own volition. But you know what I hate the most about marching band? The thing that really ticks me off, the thing that really gets my goat, that really pees me off, that really pisses in my cereal, that really investigates my 9/11, the thing that I hate the most, the thing that infuriates me, is the fact that, well, I'm the only one. And I'm sad I can't enjoy it like everyone else can. I mean, I've seen a complaint or two, but for the most part, people just love it. Every game, every rehearsal, every sectional, I see nothing but smiles. Nothing but people who want to help each other, people who want to play their favorite songs, and people who want to play as loud as they can. People who get excited at a hike, field goal, and touchdown. People who can't wait to make another formation or move, and I'm just standing in place with a frown on my face, and, you know, if we really did vote, doubt it'd even make a difference. I'd probably still do it. For the longest time, I could never figure out why. Why were they so happy? Was people masochistic? And no, the thing people love about marching band is the people. The people who want to help each other and love to be in each other's company. And for the longest time, I wondered what my motivation was. Clearly, I'm not here to better my musical skills. And I guess in a weird way, I thought my hate just kind of fueled my continuance. That my criticisms would be entirely moot if I wasn't even in marching band. But I think it really was waiting for the next opportunity, say something to free me from the torture that marching band brought. So thank you for everyone who's made marching band just a little more bearable. You too, wine.
FBI, open up!
Shit.